Okay, so I'm about done with my website, so I'm going to go over some of the issues that came up for me. Mostly setup was fine with the UNM account and the FileZilla. Everything went smoothly. Downloading HTML5 up went fine. The main issue that I had was once I thought I was basically all set up with my website, it wasn't coming up properly. So basically what happened was the design was gone. I set it up to look like this, but when I would go to the live website, it looked like this, and you know, all the color and layout is gone. I contacted UNM. Well, first I followed their documentation based on stuff like how do I get it to be viewable, how do I get all of the content to show up right, and I ended up doing a few different things that they suggested, like the SSH Telnet program, doing a web update. I did reset permissions, and none of that worked. It still wasn't working right. Downloaded this program like they told me to. Still didn't work. So I contacted them via support, via email, I'm sorry, and we've gone back and forth a couple times, and they keep saying my problem's resolved, and it wasn't. So I contacted Dr. Newmark, and she looked at my FileZilla from a screenshot and noticed that my assets and images were not in my public HTML folder. As soon as I moved those over, my website looks fine now. It looks the way it's supposed to. However, then I was having an issue with making more changes and them not showing up. And I kept saving it back over here the way I had been, and the changes weren't showing up. I noticed that assets and images was down here, and it was up here still, the same hierarchy as public HTML. So I deleted the ones that were up here, that were the same hierarchy, and just leaving the ones that are in the public HTML folder, and now it's fine. Now I can make changes, and that's working good. So that was kind of a trial and error, realizing that that just didn't look like what she told me to do. Now I was trying to make some changes, trying to add information, and I added lines incorrectly. I thought that I had to keep putting line breaks. I was going off of this here, and apparently I don't need to do that, because then I've really messed it up. It looks like it will make it fit on its own without me trying to make it fit by adding all those breaks. So I'm trying now to delete those and see if that will show up right. So I think I've deleted all the breaks. I had like 1, 2, 3, 4 breaks or something like that. So let me save this and see if this will work. So this is the process for making changes every time. Just replacing this one, saying okay, coming back over here and refreshing, and that looks better. So I might play around with it just a little bit more, trying to add some more information. I got these websites added here. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get this fixed, but I made this a link to learn more about the product that I'm referring to. Before, it just scrolled you down the page when you hit learn more, like these ones do. They kind of move you around the page. But somehow I got rid of this whole button look. I'm going to kind of play around with that, which has kind of been the process for all of this, is change some things and see what happens. If it doesn't work, go back to the way it was. So I've been screenshotting this before I make a big change in case I totally screw something up, because there's not really an undo or go back to your last version kind of thing, which has been very scary. It feels very risky to make changes. So I've just been screenshotting what my code looks like, trying the change, and if I mess everything up, go back to the way that it was. Since I'm not really fluent in this, I'm just trying to make changes based on, okay, I see Samsung Gear S2 here, and I see it up here, and that's what I want to change, so that's the only thing I'm going to change. So I'll see if I can go back to the way the button was without changing where it takes you. But basically, I got these buttons, they were set up this way, going to these locations, so I just worked with that, changed them to what we were supposed to, and made the content kind of fit. So overall, I think it's been a success. I've learned a ton, and I've really enjoyed learning all of this. So that is the short version of my process and the issues that I came upon.